All right, so you've got this killer business idea, right? But you're not quite ready to drain your savings account just yet.
Smart move.
That's what we're diving into today, how to validate your business idea without emptying your wallet. We're talking about getting proof that your idea is as brilliant as you think it is without the financial freefall.
Exactly. It's about being savvy, not spending a fortune. It's about gathering evidence. You don't want to jump off that cliff without a parachute.
Love that analogy. So where do we even begin? What are some of those first steps on our shoestring validation journey?
Let's talk landing pages. It's your virtual storefront. Super low risk, potentially high reward. It's a great way to gauge interest early on.
Okay, I'm listening. I like low risk and I love high reward. Give me an example.
So picture this. Sarah has this fantastic idea for an eco-friendly subscription box.
Right.
But instead of going all in on inventory and packaging and all of that, she starts with a simple landing page. It's got all the key details. Maybe she even throws in a little early bird discount, to sweeten the deal.
Smart move.
And then she shares it. She shares it strategically. Maybe she targets online communities, folks who are really passionate about sustainable living, her own social networks, that sort of thing.
Basically dipping her toes in the water before diving headfirst into the entrepreneurial pool.
100%.
I love it. So what happens next? Do people actually sign up for a box that doesn't even exist yet?
That is the beauty of a well-crafted landing page.
Yeah.
Because it does more than just collect emails, right? It gives you this gold mine of information. You're not just looking at how many people signed up. You're looking at the comments they leave, the questions they ask. It's like a direct line to your target audience.
Yeah.
And they're telling you what resonates, what needs tweaking, and all of this before you even have a physical product.
It's like getting feedback straight from the horse's mouth, or in this case, the eco-conscious consumer.
Nail it. And that feedback loop, it's crucial, especially in those early stages. Because it's all about validating your assumptions, being open to pivoting, to adjusting your sales based on real-world data.
Okay, so we've tackled the virtual storefront. What about an idea that requires something a bit more, shall we say, tangible?
Let's talk crowdfunding. Because it's not just about raising funds. It's about proving that there is actual market demand for what you're offering.
Okay, so let's say we have Mike, and Mike has designed this amazing ergonomic chair that's going to revolutionize the way people sit. Is crowdfunding the way to go?
It could be, right. Because instead of, again, maxing out credit cards, trying to manufacture 1,000 chairs, Mike launches a crowdfunding campaign, showcases the designs, prototypes, shares his journey, connects with potential backers.
I love that.
And you know what's fascinating about crowdfunding?
What's that?
It really taps into this deep desire that people have. They want to be a part of something new. They want to support innovation.
Yeah.
When people back crowdfunding campaigns, they're not just buying a product. They're buying into that vision. They want to be the first to own that cool new gadget or be the one who supported that entrepreneur they believe in.
It's like they're saying, I believe in this enough to put my money where my mouth is.
Exactly. And that vote of confidence, that early validation, it's incredibly powerful because it's not just about the money, right? It's about proving that there's a market out there. There are people who are hungry for what you're offering.
So we've got landing pages for testing the waters and crowdfunding for diving into the deep end. But what if your idea is more digital, like an app, for instance?
That's where the MVP comes in, the minimum viable product.
Ah, the MVP, a term I hear thrown around a lot in the entrepreneurial world. But break it down for me. What exactly is that?
So imagine Lisa, who has this dream of creating an amazing meal planning app, but building a full-fledged app that takes time, it takes money, a lot of resources.
For sure.
So instead of pouring all of her resources into something that may or may not actually meet users' needs, she starts with a simplified version, a minimum viable product.
Okay.
And this could be something as simple as spreadsheet, right, with recipe ideas and maybe manual email reminders.
So it's not about launching a perfect, polished product right out the gate. It's about getting something functional out there quickly and affordably.
Exactly. And this ties into the whole lean startup methodology, which is all about maximizing learning while minimizing waste.
I like the sound of that.
By launching an MVP, Lisa gets to test her core assumptions, gather valuable feedback from those early adopters, and then iterate based on real-world usage. She discovers what features users actually love, what's clunky, what needs to be tweaked, maybe even uncovers needs she didn't even know existed.
It's like fitting your business with a learning curve, constantly evolving, constantly improving. I love that. It's so much smarter than pouring tons of resources into something that might miss the mark.
And sometimes those MVP experiments even lead to pivots, fundamental changes in direction. And that's based on what you learned from putting that bare bones product out there.
Speaking of pivoting, sometimes you've got to step outside the digital world altogether, right?
Absolutely. The real world offers some incredible validation opportunities. Let's talk about pop-up shops.
Pop-up shops. Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
All right, so we have Carlos. And Carlos, he's got this dream, right? He wants to open his own specialty coffee shop.
Okay.
But instead of signing a lease, buying all that expensive equipment, he starts small. He sets up a pop-up stall. Maybe it's at a local farmer's market, a community event, something like that.
I love that.
He gets to test different blends, chat with potential customers, see those reactions firsthand. And he's doing all of this while minimizing his financial risk.
So it's like a low-pressure environment to test the waters, literally, in Carlos's case. And it's not just limited to coffee, right?
Oh, absolutely not. This strategy, it can work for so many things. Think handcrafted jewelry, artisanal baked goods, even like a mobile pet grooming service. It's about bringing that idea to life in a tangible way.
Yeah.
And letting the market give you that instant feedback, thumbs up or thumbs down.
Instant feedback, I love that. It's like getting a standing ovation or a heckle from the audience, but for your business idea.
Exactly.
Okay, speaking of feedback, let's talk about pre-orders. How does that fit into our validation puzzle?
Pre-orders are fantastic because they're a great way to not only validate demand, but they can also help you fund that first production run.
Yeah.
So let's say we have Emma, and Emma designs like the best travel backpack, stylish, functional, checks all the boxes. But manufacturing backpacks at scale, you need capital for that.
Right.
So what does Emma do? She creates a really strong online presence. Maybe there are some amazing product photos, a detailed description that makes you want to pack your bags immediately. And then she offers a limited number of pre-orders, maybe at a slight discount, to really incentivize those early birds.
So she's gauging interest in securing funding before she even makes a single backpack. That's incredibly smart.
Right.
But what's the catch?
Honesty and transparency are key. Emma needs to be upfront about those production timelines, potential delays, the whole 9 yards. Managing expectations, that's crucial. You're building trust and excitement.
Honesty. Always the best policy. Okay, I'm starting to feel like I've got a pretty solid toolkit here for validating those product-based businesses. But what about something like a service, where the offering is, a little less tangible?
Sometimes you just have to go straight to the source. Ask. Surveys and interviews can be incredibly insightful, and you'd be surprised how many people are actually willing to share their thoughts.
It's true. People love giving their opinions, but how do you make sure you're asking the right questions?
Let's go back to Tom and his dog walking app idea. Instead of asking generic questions, like, do you like dogs? Or do you ever need help walking your dog?
Right.
It needs to go deeper. What are your biggest frustrations with the existing dog walking services out there? What would make your life easier? What features would you actually be willing to pay for? Those are the golden nuggets. That's the information that can make or break his app idea.
I've definitely learned the hard way about asking the wrong survey questions. I once sent out this whole survey about a potential podcast topic. One of the questions was so open-ended, I just got all these rambling responses that were impossible to actually analyze.
Oh, I've been there.
It was a disaster.
That's a perfect example of why targeted questions are so important. You want to give people the space to share their thoughts, but you need to keep them focused on the information that you need. The information that's actually going to help you validate your idea.
Okay, noted. So we've covered surveys. What about tapping into the power of social media for validation?
Social media can be a gold mine for testing those ideas, gauging interest, building a buzz. So let's say we've got Priya, who is a passionate vegan chef, and she has this dream of launching her own meal delivery service.
Okay.
But instead of, again, renting a commercial kitchen right away, she starts small. She starts sharing her culinary creations on Instagram, maybe some quick recipe videos on TikTok, that sort of thing.
She's basically building a following before she even have a business.
Exactly.
I love that.
It's all about testing the waters without diving in head first. And the great thing is, Priya can see what's working. What recipes are getting the most likes? What cuisines are people really responding to? She can even use polls to get a sense of, pricing sensitivity.
It's like free market research.
Right. But more fun. And don't forget the power of community. She could start engaging with potential customers, building those relationships, generating that buzz, all before she even launches her first meal.
This is all making me think about the importance of knowing your competition. That feels like it has to be a crucial part of validating your idea, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Knowing your competition, it's like having a secret weapon. So let's say we have David. David wants to disrupt the world of project management software. He's got all these innovative features swirling around in his head. But before he even starts coding, he does his research. He dives deep into that existing market. He signs up for free trials, reads customer reviews. He is really studying those reviews. He analyzes pricing strategies. He is on a mission to gather as much intel as possible.
So it's not about copying the competition, it's about learning from them.
100%. David's looking for those gaps. What are the unfulfilled needs? Where can he offer something unique, something valuable that's going to stand out?
Keep your friends close and your competitors closer.
Right, especially in the business world.
Okay, so we've covered a ton of ground here. From landing pages to crowdfunding to competitor analysis, it is incredible how many ways there are to validate your idea without breaking the bank.
It's all about being resourceful.
It's amazing. You really don't need a ton of money. You just need to be clever about it.
Exactly. And the best part is you don't have to use every single one of these strategies. Just pick the methods that make the most sense for your idea, for your resources, and who you're trying to reach. It's like a buffet of validation strategies load up your plate.
I love that. And it's not about being right on the first try. Sometimes it's about being wrong and learning from it, right?
It's all about gathering that real-world feedback. And then you tweak things. You refine your approach as you go.
It's a process.
And that's what defines a true entrepreneur, that willingness to learn, to be flexible. It's not about having all the answers right away. It's about asking the right questions.
And not being afraid of the answers, even if they aren't what you want to hear.
And, it's not just about validating your product or your service. It's about validating yourself.
Oh, that's interesting. What do you mean by that?
Starting a business, it takes grit, It takes a belief in yourself and your vision. And how do you build that belief? You test your assumptions, you face those fears head on, and you prove to yourself that you've got what it takes.
So you're not just building a business, you're building your entrepreneurial confidence at the same time.
Exactly. Every experiment, every bit of feedback you get, it's all part of that growth. It's shaping you as an entrepreneur.
This has been such an inspiring conversation. As we wrap up here, what is the single most important thing you want our listeners to remember as they're getting ready to test out their own brilliant ideas?
Don't let fear be the thing that holds you back. That's what these validation strategies are all about. They help you mitigate that risk, give you the confidence to move forward, one step at a time.
Great advice. So as you embark on your own entrepreneurial journey, we'll leave you with this. What are your fears? What assumptions do you need to validate, not just about your business, but about yourself? That's something to think about. Until next time, keep those entrepreneurial spirits burning bright.